Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Miles here, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. I apologize for the long hiatus yet again. I tend to do that more often than I want to, taking very long periods of time off without posting content. To be completely honest with you, I've tried to take the winter break just to regain some focus mentally. I've continued to collect games. I think I've added maybe 20 new games to the collection since the last time I have seen you guys and made a video. I have two videos coming out as I'm filming this one. One of them is a recent haul of like 15 different video games that I bought. It was around Black Friday. I just never got to posting that video. And the other one is of this really, really cool DVD box set. It's actually on Blu-ray. It's Halo Red versus Blue. I'll show you guys real quick because knowing how the internet works today, I doubt you guys are going to go and look for yourselves. So here is what I'm talking about. This is Halo Red versus Blue. It started off as like a fan-made YouTube series in the early 2000s and got picked up by Blu-ray recently to make a collector's edition box set of the first 10 seasons. It's essentially just like YouTube poop, but Halo. And I think that's extremely cool. I'm someone that's into that sort of stuff, so I just wanted to show you guys that. The reason why I'm in full screen right now is because I want to show you guys 3 PS4 games that I got when I was in the Virgin Islands this past weekend. I actually also got a couple PS2 games. I went to this store, and it was actually really weird. Like, I was just on kind of a drive around town with my family, just looking at like the water and the ports of the island and stuff like that. And there was this game store. I have this weird thing. It's like wherever I go, I feel like I can feel if there are video games nearby. Like last year, I don't know if you guys have been watching for this long, but last year, when I was at school, my freshman year, I found a bunch of PS2 and PS1 and original Xbox games, as well as a PlayStation 1 and a bunch of controllers and Guitar Hero guitars in the basement of my dorm, which was super weird because it almost felt like they were waiting for me. And I had always been curious about what was inside of that basement because, like, part of me knew there were going to be video games in there. I don't know why, but part of me knew there were going to be video games in there. So, yeah, there's that. But, anyways, these are the 3 PS2 games I bought at the store. I basically, in the corner of my eye, saw this shop, and it said, like, it was a complete ripoff of Disney. The logo was Mickey Mouse, and obviously it wasn't actually a Disney store. But I went in there, was this Indian guy that owned the place, and he was super, super chill, like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He had a couple bins full of sealed PS4 games, and he was like, yeah, all of these games right here are $10. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, I swear to God, $10. For each of these PS2 games. So I was like, sorry, PS4 games. So I was like, all right, I can't pass up on that deal. And I ended up finding those PS2 games, and I paid like $12 a pop for those. But it was a super fun experience because I was in the middle of the Virgin Islands, and obviously you don't get like Targets or Walmarts or Best Buys or even GameStops at these places, let alone retro game stores that have, you know, local owners who have huge video game collections. This guy was like a diamond in the rough. I guess he must have grew up with video games. I talked to the guy, super chill guy, like I said. And he said that, you know, he's been playing PlayStation since forever, since the PS1 came out. He knew all about, you know, all the PlayStation games I was talking about, Uncharted, God of War, Assassin's Creed. He knew things like Ultimate Spider-Man, you know, you got Gran Turismo, Hitman, you know, all that good stuff. Like, he knew everything. He even knew about the Sopranos Road to Respect game that I currently just got delivered to my house like 2 minutes ago. I'll show you guys. I bought a bunch of PS2 games for as a Hanukkah gift for myself, so I'm really excited to show you guys what I got. I don't actually know if I'll like end up doing a full full review on everything, but basically, as you can see here, Sopranos Road to Respect. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that because my camera's kind of shitty, but it says delivered. It's this game right here, as you can see. It says delivered, and now I can't even. I gotta make sure that my address isn't in this shit, bro. Alright, good. 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 Okay. Just wanted to make sure my address wasn't in that shit. Anyways. On to the next. Okay, I'm sorry for the little pause. That was really bad. That was like a mental fart. Yeah, I'll show you guys the PS2 games that have come so far. The rest of them arrived this morning. Just got the notification, but I bought this right here, Spawn Armageddon. Super sick. We'll take a review on that in a little bit. Same thing with Scarface. And then 50 Cent Blood Money. Really sick, bro. Very, very excited to show you guys those games in gameplay videos. However, today I just wanted to show you guys the PS4 games and also kind of just talk about some stuff. So let me show you guys these PS4 games before I finish my story, and then we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of this video and why I'm recording right now. But here are the 3 PS4 games I got for $10, mind you, and these were all sealed. We got Duke Nukem World 3D Tour Anniversary. I have this on the 360, but this goes for like $40 to $50 on eBay, and I got it for $10 sealed. Obviously, I opened it. I'm going to play it, but it was sick that I got this for only $10. Same thing with Cartoon Network Battle Crashers. I know this is only like a $10, $14, $15 game on the PS Shop, but it's cool to have this as a physical copy. I'm a super big Cartoon Network fan, and these are some of my favorite characters, like Steven Universe, Mordecai, Jake, Finn, Gumball there in the shadow. You can see him in the shadowed reflection back there, so like I said, just some of my favorite characters from childhood. And then I got the Sega Genesis Classics Collection, which I also have for Xbox 360 and PS3, but I don't know. Maybe the PS4 version has more. And there's also, comes with a poster, but the poster's really shitty. It's from like some Sega game that I've never heard of before. So, yeah, that is basically everything that I have to show you that's important. I have more games that I bought, but they're not like as eye-opening as those PS2 games that I just showed you. Like Scarface is like an $85 PS2 game. So, yeah, anyways. Basically, the guy was super chill, and it was just super weird that, like, we were driving, and, like, I felt like there had to be a video game store nearby. Like, we were in the shopping center. All the stores were closing down, and I was like, no, there's got to be a place that has games. There's got to be something. And I turned around, and I literally see a video game store, and it was just, it felt so, like, too good to be true. But anyways, that was an experience. The main reason I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys is because I think gaming is dying. And I know I took way too long to get to that. It's been 7.5 minutes, but I think gaming is dying. And I'm not going to go like too far deep into what I mean by that right now. But that's mainly because I just spent the last 7 minutes talking about fucking God knows what. Like the new video games I just bought that no one cares about. I think I'm going to make a separate video specifically talking about the downfall of gaming and why I think it's super important that we all recognize as a people that this shit is just, like, not the same. It's not the same at all. I'm trying to find how I can, yeah, center the screen. Nope, not really what I wanted. Actually, whatever. I just feel like gaming right now is in a really stale place. Mainly because I feel like most of the games that we're still enjoying today are games that we were enjoying as kids or like 10, 15 years ago type thing. What I mean by that is, like, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, these were like mainstream media titles back in the day. People loved them, everybody was playing them 10, 15 years ago, but now it's 15 years in the future, and I feel like not enough has changed to the point where it's like a different thing. You know what I mean? Like for example, the reason why I have Xbox 360 playing in the background right now is because this was a gamer's console, and everything about this console felt catered to a gamer. I feel like new consoles like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, it's now like like, I don't want to say monopolization, but it's kind of like gaming back then used to be like it was a risky project because you had parents saying that video games are horrible for you, all these adults like, oh, it's a distraction, but these little kids that we grew up to be like the first kind of group of people to really experience like online multiplayer with Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto and like the first person, you know what I mean? It's like we were the first group of people to really experience this like online oasis, this online world where like you can exist beyond the planes of reality. And the Xbox 360 and PS3, I think, kind of show that era way more than anything that I've personally seen, because of the fact that back then everybody was still focused on that sort of like that was the theme, you know what I mean? Like, gaming was risky, gaming was edgy, gaming was, it was like, it was a rush of testosterone, you know what I mean? And the things you were seeing on the screen, they felt like you weren't supposed to really see them, kind of thing. And everything is so watered down, you know what I mean? Like, playing Call of Duty today, it doesn't feel gritty. I don't feel like an actual soldier fighting for my life to take back the map, or to have, you know, more eliminations and take out the other team before they take us out. It's like everything today is like a watered down plastic, like Walmart, Hasbro, fucking like Transformers, Rise of the Beasts, like Disneyfied Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean? It's like there's no soul left. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like there's no soul left. You know, a game like Modern Warfare 2, it had soul, because no one had ever seen this before. You had these developers grinding day in and day out to come up with this thing that no one had ever seen before, so there was pressure. There was pressure. Because there's this void, there's this unknown void, and they obviously, they want to be, like, at this point in time, like, during the 360 era, like, Call of Duty, Activision's obviously a huge fucking company, don't get me wrong, Activision's been around fucking forever, but Call of Duty is like, they're at the peak of their pinnacle, because people are noticing that this game is different. They're trying shit. They're out here, like, trying risky shit, and they're not afraid of it. You know what I mean? Like Call of Duty was edgy. Call of Duty was intense. You know what I mean? Like, it was, it felt like every action felt like a movie scene, and we don't have that anymore. Especially because, like, with the new skins and just the fact that everyone plays on, like, colorblind mode with insane brightness and the movement demons, it's like our minds can't process all of the, you know, things going on in the background, like the map and the aesthetic and the environment, because we're so busy, like, whying. We're so busy, like, trying to, you know, get the next kill, or, you know, omni move to the next spot. It's like, back then, there were limitations, so you're forced to, like, embrace the map there, and you're forced to embrace the terrain, the vibe, the feel, whether it's a desert map, whether you're in the snow, whether you're, like, in a factory or in space. It's like, back then, before we had Omni-Moon, before it was just, like, sprint for a few seconds, now you gotta walk for 2 seconds. I gotta sprint for a few seconds, I gotta walk for 2 seconds. It's like, back then, you were forced to kind of embrace the area, and if it was an open map with a lot of, like, you know, like, just a lot of open space, you're probably going to go in with an AR. Like, you really didn't see many snipers back then, unless you had a map that had a lot of buildings and a lot of, like, you know, kind of corners and nooks and crannies. Like, people actually played realistically compared to how a real soldier would fight in the same situation if this game was real life. And because of Omni movement, it gives you this, like, kind of mobile gaming style, like, arcadey feel, where it's like I don't know, like, the way I would compare it is like Minecraft's Hunger Games versus Grand Theft Auto Team Deathmatch. Minecraft Hunger Games was fun when I was a kid because of the idea of the fact that I'm doing this Hunger Games thing online with my friends. It had nothing to do with the fucking Minecraft shit. But Grand Theft Auto was cool because you're like a fucking, you know, character from, like, you're a grown man, like, character. You have tattoos, fucking guns and shit, and it's like, you know, it's not like a fucking, like, plastic blocky oasis. Like, dude, you're like, you can jack cars, you know, it's like, people like GTA because of the game. People like Minecraft because of the experience they have with their fucking friends. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, now they've kind of merged into two. It's like, no one tries to make a game when it comes to online multiplayer, like, you know, like, play PvP style, like Call of Duty 6v6 style multiplayer. Like, people are more focused now on microtransactions and DLC bundles and whatever free-to-play mode they have, because every AAA game at this point has a free-to-play mode, because that's how you maximize profits, right? So at this point, everything's about maximizing profits. It's no longer about maximizing engagement with the people that you're trying to advertise your thing to, because back then the rated for mature, you know, rating and the commercials and the advertisements and just like the whole vibe of the lifestyle of a person who's playing Call of Duty was very much more mature toned than it is today. Like, the average 12-year-old could resonate with what's going on in Call of Duty. And I understand that, like, 10 years ago, a lot of 12-year-olds were on the game, but we weren't on the game because we wanted to, you know, experience shooting a gun in a first-person video game. Like, at that point, at 12 years old, like, not even at 12 years old, like, in 2013, there were, like, 100 different games to play if you're looking to shoot a gun in first person. Like, the thing is, when you look at FPS shooters, like, Call of Duty stands out because in their prime, they were like, this is why you should play our game. We have fast-paced multiplayer. We have all these guns. We have camos. We have, you know, like you're going to feel like you're in a realistic shooter, but it's an arcade simulator. So it's like, it's repetitive, but it works. It's simple. It's repetitive, but it's simple. And because it was simple, I think people kind of cling to that, because, you know, you didn't really have to be a rocket scientist to understand how to flank the left side on Nuketown. It's like, all you got to know is where people spawn, where people tend to go once they spawn, and what, like, is it an SMG, is it a shotgun, is it like, what's the best class to use for that map? And then you make classes based off of, you know, the different maps that you play. Like, if it's a small map with, you know, a lot of open space, you're probably going to go AR with heavy fire rate, or fast shooting SMG, right? But if it's like a, I don't know, standoff, you'll probably go with the sniper, right? And just stand in the window and kind of like peep the outside, and don't like, you know, you don't rush middle. You just kind of pick everybody off from the corners and the outside, like a fucking, like, dead shot. Well, I guess the point I'm trying to make with all this is, like, gaming felt so exciting back then, not because, like, it was so graphically, you know, oh, realistic, or oh, this feels like real life. Nah, it was because people actually cared about the content that they were putting out. Now it's all about maximizing profits, and little children, 12-year-old kids, are easier to engage with than adults. You see Call of Duty piling in all this money. They know that kids have their parents' credit cards on their Xbox. Now they're going to download Warzone and buy a skin bundle or two. And that it's exciting to load into Call of Duty because it's like this big game and it's been popular for so long and you can shoot people and stuff like that. But, like, the real motherfucking fans, the real adults, the real motherfuckers who have been here since World at War, since COD 4, you know, we're tired of this shit. And, you know, we were there when everything was simple and watered, you know, not watered down, when simple and, like, kind of doable. We were all there. And did we think to ourselves, like, you know, I want more from this? Like, no, we enjoyed it. We loved what we had. We didn't want more. And then when Call of Duty Ghosts came out, they're like, yeah, we spent all this time developing AI fish that react to weird. It's like, you do that, you come out with a map like fucking, what was that map called? Stonehaven or Stonehenge, shit like that. The biggest map in Call of Duty fucking history. Why am I having the fucking hiccups right now? The biggest map in Call of Duty history, right? And it was just, like, so unplayable. And, like, that was the depth. Because at that point, it's like they're not listening anymore. They're just, like, trying shit because they want to try shit and have the money to do so. Before they kind of made it, I would say they made it after Black Ops 2, Activision, right? Because at that point, that's, like, 5. You have COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. That's like 7. Six. That's 6 insane titles. Back to back to back to back to back to back. So at that point, they have this money, and they're like, you know what? Let's just go out and try shit. Let's just go out and be complacent and try to be different. And I feel like every time something else has become popular, like Apex, Overwatch, you know, whatever the fuck, Call of Duty sees that and tries to add an implement to their game to try to be them, and they've been losing players ever. Like Infinite Warfare, for example, futuristic ass shooter. Like, I guess at that point there were like, you know, there was like Overwatch, and I don't really know what else was out at that time because I really wasn't playing shooters in 2016. I honestly quit COD when Infinite Warfare came out because Modern Warfare Remastered was not enough for me. I was still playing Modern Warfare on my 360, and there were still like 50,000 people online at the time in like 2016, 2017, and you know, I was enjoying Battlefront, I was enjoying 2K17. Like, there were just other games that I liked that I kind of am grateful that I experienced instead of Call of Duty at that time. But they just got so like they stopped being themselves, and it's not like, I guess this life lesson, this message that I'm here to tell you, like, isn't really even about Call of Duty. It's about like you, bro. Like, don't try to be somebody else because they're cool. You're cool because you have something in you that makes you different than everybody else. Call of Duty was cool in and of itself because it was different. Because at the time, you know, they didn't care to be Halo. They didn't care to be Brothers in Arms or Medal of Honor or Battlefield. They were just Call of Duty. And you could distinctively tell COD from a different game. It's like now in 2025, they've tried to be everything. And they've spent so much more time on trying to be these other, you know, titles to the point where they've lost this. They've lost what made them popular. And in life, sometimes you can get so caught up in, you know, the money and the attention and the distractions that you forget what made you special in the first place. You forget why you were here in the first place. And what I'm trying to say is, Microsoft, obviously, Bill Gates, like, he's a fucking greedy ass motherfucker, you know what I mean? And PlayStation, they're also a greedy company. Sony's obviously very greedy as well, because look how you have to be greedy to be that popular, to be that big. But Sony has always catered to the players. You know what I mean? Well, Xbox has catered to maximizing profits and advertising to little children, because little children don't understand. You know, little children don't see the difference between 4K 30 FPS and 1080p 60 FPS. They don't. They don't. And they don't care, which is the problem. That's more money for Xbox. This was their one thing they got right. This was like their diamond in the rough. Their one-hit wonder. And I honestly think the only reason Xbox is still talked about today is because of the Xbox 360. I think with Halo, the Xbox original would be seen as its own thing regardless. But without the 360, I don't think we'd have the sort of conversations that we have about COD and Xbox. So that's my mini rant. Hopefully some of my points resonated with you guys. But at the end of the day, like, the point I'm trying to make once again is that in 2025, everything is a watered down, soulless version of what once used to be a passion project that had real passion and love and attention going towards it. And now everything that we once loved, that once was raw, unedited, unseen before talent, is now just completely, like, capitalized, and has become a money dig. Everything's about money in 2025, man. No company cares about efficiency anymore. Companies only care about numbers. You know what I mean? Call of Duty is no longer like a cultural thing. It's now just a yearly money binge. You know, like, since Modern Warfare 19, every game has felt the same. You can't just slap a different name on it and call it a new game when everyone's moving around and playing exactly the same. Like, I can't believe we never. I mean, I can't believe it's taken us this long to see that. It's just insane. But anyways, I'll make another video on this probably later tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Is gaming dying in 2025? See y'all later. Peace.